Welcome back to my channel. My name is Destiny. In today's video, we're going to be talking about humble beginnings. So you may want to read chapter 6 and 7 in the book of Judges before we get started, or if time permits, just go ahead and read it afterwards. But I just want to tell you where we're going to be reading from today. Okay, so just to put you in an understanding of where we are and what we're going to be speaking about, we're talking about Gideon. So Gideon was sitting underneath an oak tree when an angel appeared to him. And the angel basically was having a dialogue about where he was in his present time, about Israel, and about how God had promised his ancestors, like they were going to deliver Israel from whatever that was going on at that time. And God says to Gideon, I'm using you. You're the one that's gonna free Israel. And Gideon's like, what do you mean? How am I going to free Israel? Like, I'm the least in my family. I'm the weakest. We have the weakest army. So we're going to read chapter 6, verse 15. I may pronounce some things wrong. Oh well, leave the pronunciation in the comments below. Pardon me, my Lord, Gideon replied, but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I'm the least in my family. The Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all of the Midianites, leaving none alone. So basically, God is telling Gideon, don't worry about how you feel, that you're not going to be adequate enough to defeat this mighty army. Yes, your army might be the weakest. Yes, you might be the least in your family, but if you have my strength behind you, you will beat them. So Gideon asked God for signs. I think he asked him for about a total of 3 signs. I know for sure he asked them for 2, and this is the story with the fleece. So the story with the fleece is when Gideon says, Lord, I'm going to put this fleece down, let the fleece be wet with dew, but let the ground underneath it be dry. That happened. The second sign he asked for, he said, Lord, let this fleece be dry and let the ground underneath the fleece be wet. That happened. The Lord also told Gideon to make a sacrifice. Go ahead and make the sacrifice. And Gideon was like, they're going to kill me if I try to destroy this man's property. And he trusted the Lord. He did it, and he was not killed. That was like a sign. And the people were like, okay, this is mighty Gideon. So he goes to war, and God says, okay, stay put. I'll tell you when to attack. So just to back up a little bit. So Gideon, they go to war. So they have about 20,000 soldiers. God says, that's too many. And Gideon's probably looking like, what do you mean that's too many? Like, our clan is already weak. We're not going to beat the Midianites. And God, like, how you can't deny what God has in store for you. So Gideon, he tells his soldiers to leave. At this point, I believe they had about 10,000. God says, that's still too many. And he's like, well, why do you keep breaking it down? And sometimes God breaks it down for you to have a humble beginning, for you to feel like, how am I going to get this done? For other people to even around you to feel like, how are they going to accomplish this? And God was using Gideon as a testimony, as a walking testimony, to say, I'm breaking this man's army down to none. At the end of the day, he had 300 soldiers. So God broke Gideon's army down to none, and they still defeated the Midianites. God said to Gideon, go and take a slave with you. A servant. Go and take a servant with you and eavesdrop on them. Eavesdrop on the opposing army, and you will see. That's your sign. When you hear it, you will know when to attack. So Gideon did not ask for this sign, but the Lord knows us so well. The Lord knew for Gideon to get to where he needed to be, he had to drop those little crumbs. He had to drop those little signs. And that's how awesome God is, because he knows each and every one of us, and each and every one of us is different. I'm probably like a Gideon where I do have to, all right, I need a sign. Like, is this, okay, all right, then I'll go ahead and do it. Like, some of us works that way. So Gideon took his servant with him, and he overheard the Midianites talking, saying, it's a sign, whatever, Gideon's going to defeat us. And that's what ended up happening. So I say this to say, I want to talk about humble beginnings, because some of us in our lives think about we don't have enough to accomplish what God has said accomplish. I was like that. I felt as though, okay, yes, I want to start a YouTube, but I need a camera. I need, lighting. I need all these different things to make this channel. And I don't need all those things. Yes, I would like those things because I know my talent. So there's a difference between not having what you need and knowing your talent. So I think that's where I was getting confused at. Yes, I knew I had what I needed as far as getting a YouTube channel together, but I know some of the gifts that God has in store for me. I know my gifts, and I know there's gifts that I have not even tapped into. I've always known that I'm very creative. I'm very, very creative. I don't know. It's like, if I put my hands on it, then I'm gonna make it work. Everything might not come out to how I like it because my resources might not be there, but if I'm working with what I have, it's going to be just as God intended it to be. With gardening, I thought, okay, I need an extravagant, I need this big old space, I need this, I need that. All I needed was those 2 raised garden beds, which did not do well. And they didn't do well, not because I wasn't putting in the work, because it wasn't God's will for that to grow right then and there. He was like, yes, let me give you this little breadcrumb and show you, yes, gardening, this is what I have called you to do. However, I need you to work on yourself first. So it's like, I'm trying to put it into words. It's like he had to give me humble beginnings. He had to show me, okay, this is gardening. Then boom, I got COVID. Boom, the garden failed. Like the corn was molded. Just everything failed. But the blessing in that was that it did grow. The blessing in that I did bear fruit. The blessing was that, all right, you can do this. With time and dedication and the proper resources, yes, you can do this. And sometimes God has to strip us away from everything that we know to say, okay, this is how you make a cake. I need milk, I need eggs, I need butter, I need this and that. But no, sometimes you might not have everything, all the ingredients that calls for that recipe. Sometimes you might have to use what you have. And sometimes God might say, okay, take this away and let me show you there's another way to do it with little. Sometimes less is more. And sometimes that's what we have to understand with God, is that if all we have is God, that's all we need. All we need is God to accomplish whatever we have. Sometimes God has to remind us, I'm all you need. I'm enough. I am. God is. He will always be. I am enough. If we have God, that is enough. It doesn't matter if you have $1 in your pocket. It doesn't matter if you have $100 in your pocket. If you have God, that's enough. He will make that $1 stretch as much as it needs to stretch until you get whatever you need to get. He will make it stretch. He will make those provisions for you. It's okay to ask God for extra provisions and saying, like, God, I understand you have called me to do this, and I'm frustrated with my potential. That's another topic that we'll dive into a little deeper a little later. But that's another topic, is that being frustrated with your potentials because you need to ask God for more provisions. Don't be afraid to say, God, thank you for showing me this way. Thank you for showing me what I can accomplish with this little, but I want to see how much I can accomplish with this. It's okay to ask for provisions. It's okay. So that is all I have for today. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Thank you for continuing to watch me grow. Thank you if you're tuning into my gardening channel. Well, it's the same channel. But if you're tuning into my gardening series, thank you again. Thank you for growing. Leave a comment below. I already said that. Make sure you hit your bell notification so you can get alerts on any time that I post a video. As a reminder, I do post on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I do want to apologize because I did not post last Sunday, but it was my daughter's birthday, so you know how that goes. But anyways, for the most part, I do post consistently. So again, thank you for tuning in. Happy growing.